So the third thing that you want to do to prepare for your presentation is you want to create a presentation outline with five or really fewer key points to cover. The more items that you put into your outline, the more difficult it is to remember and the more boring it's going to be for your audience. So you really want to cut down. It's better to cover a few items really, really well than to cover a lot of items in kind of a cursory way. So once you have a really good title, you'll find it much easier to organize those few key items, identify what those few key items are in your presentation, because the more narrow that your title gets, it makes you more focused. And a good technique, by the way, to use is to pretend that you are one of the audience members, the people that are going to be listening to this presentation, and then ask yourself, if I knew nothing about this topic, if I'm just listening to this person speak for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, however long your presentation is, what would be the absolute most important thing that I would need to understand about this topic? And whatever the answer to that question is likely going to be one of your main bullet points or one of the main things that you're going to cover. And then you do the same thing to discover another main point. And then once you get to three, four, or five of these key concepts, you probably want to stop, because if you're covering points based on their importance to the audience member, then by the time you get to the sixth most important thing, the relative importance for that one is going to be much lower than the first one that you came up with. So the more stuff that you cover, the less important it's going to be to the people that are in the audience, which means that they're more likely to tune out if they don't think it's going to be in their interest to stay tuned in with you, right? So think about your bullet points, and the content that you're creating for your presentation. Think of it like a dessert, like a really, really sweet dessert, like a cheesecake or something like that. The first few bites are fantastic. However, the more you eat, if you overindulge, then you're eventually going to kind of start to feel sick and icky, right? So your audience is the same way. Instead of stuffing your presentation with a bunch of poorly created points, you just make a few of them and make them exceptional. That's why the analogy for the dessert really works well, So if you cover, if you got 100 different desserts to choose from, but none were really nice, it's kind of, what's the point? Whereas if you just get that one, really that perfect dessert, where at the end of your meal you're going, oh man, that's awesome, right? That's kind of what you want to do with your content. Go cover things that are in your presentation that are most critical, most important, that are the things that the audience is really going to need, and they're going to like you as the presenter more, and they're going to like your presentation a whole lot better as well.